Thank you, guys. Welcome to Johnson City. For you guys that are not from here, this is the greatest place on earth that you probably didn't know about. Um, I was fortunate to grow up here my whole entire life. I'm from Elizabethton, Tennessee. Um, had a truck driver for a father and a mother that worked two jobs to put food on the table. So I've been through all walks of life, and I was fortunate enough to land in a place where there's a lot of good people to help you build something special, and that's what I've been able to come over the years. So we'll flip through this little presentation I did for you guys. It's really everyone in here's business is different. Everyone's idea is different. So this doesn't apply for every business, but I wanted to put some true principles that really led me to where I'm at today. And those are from lessons I've learned. Those are from mistakes. Those are from devoting my entire life just to building something special. But how I did it was an interesting journey. So I'll flip through first slide here, maybe. In a world of constant change, a world that demands adaptability, creativity, and courage, staying up the top isn't about luck. It's about a drive to keep moving forward. My journey began as a small operation with big dreams. Through determination, strategy, and a commitment to doing things differently, I grew that small start into the largest of its kind in the country. I did it all without taking on a single dollar of debt. This is a story about resilience, growth, and the power of innovation. So that's kind of what we're going to get into today. Just to tell you a little bit about my company and the employees, we have over 700 employees here in Johnson City, 700,000 square feet of manufacturing. Um, Again, this is our favorite place on earth. You'll hear me say that a lot today because it's in my soul. I'm ingrained. I was born. I was raised. There's no place I would rather manufacture than right here. There's no place I want to have an economic impact besides right here in Johnson City. We have 97 retail stores that we own and operate anywhere from Maine to California. You know, when we came up with our model, it was back in the days where all the things to do before the internet was it was a dealer model. It was a hot tub that you went in, the dealer bought 50 a year, he marked it up 100%, and you paid a lot of money for the hot tub. So I came from a retail background before manufacturing, got in the internet early on when Google was on the side of Yahoo. That early on, before anyone knew what Google was, and was able to learn how the internet works and digital marketing works. So having that on the inside allowed me to be a really good internet retailer, a really good retailer, and then I figured out manufacturing. And when you partner all those things together, you're bound for success. One question I would ask you guys that have an idea is, where are you wanting to go with the business that you're thinking about getting into? What do you want from the business? Do you want a business that, for me, I want a business that's gives me time with my family. My family's by far more important than my business, and it always will be. So I don't want a business that's going to rule me, where I eat, sleep, and think about it constantly. So you guys have to think about that when you get in a business. Think about what that is. For instance, if you get into owning 10 McDonald's, you're probably not going to have a life. You're probably going to make a lot of money, but that's a tough business. That's a really tough business. It's hard to hire people. It's hard to scale. So I would ask yourself before you do any of your ideas to think about what you want out of the business and where you're at in your personal journey, because it matters. It matters when you get into business. If you don't have enough time for the business, it's going to fail. It's not going to prosper. If you do have a lot of time, maybe your relationship's going to fail. It's not going to prosper. So I would just ask you guys to think about that. Knowing the competition, this is a big one too. You know, you guys are all here because you have ideas, you have innovation, you want to work for yourself, be entrepreneurs. Knowing the competition is very key to get before you get into any industry. That's what I do. You know, I like going into an industry where it's dominated by big corporations. Um, I know they're slow. They got to go to boardrooms to make one decision. They can't get out of their own way. And when they have aggressive entrepreneur going after them that's innovative and passionate, it's really easy to compete with those. Would I go against somebody that probably has a huge advantage against me? No. So, you know, sometimes that matters. So when you guys are looking at a product, look and see what's your market potential. You know, where are you guys going to price your product? That's the other issue. Do you want to be in the high end world? Do you guys want to sell Rolls Royce and do a couple thousand a year, or do you want to sell Kias and do 40,000 a year? Those are things that really I've found in business that are key. When I can hit a price point on a hot tub at $39.99, I'm literally going to sell double the amount of hot tubs at that price point than $49.99. It's a weird thing. It's all come from market research and testing that we've done, but knowing the scale of what you guys are going to get into is key. So many people get into businesses and they spend all this time and effort. They develop it, they get it, they got a great product. I mean, a great product. Really makes sense. Innovative. There's just no market. There's just no market for it. And you're stuck. You're at the mercy of what the market gives you. So I would say look at your competition and know kind of what you're getting into. How to know your idea or product is ready to launch? That's a tough one. For us in manufacturing, we're now in the golf cart world. We just bought a UTV manufacturer, so we're doing UTVs. So for us, knowing when to launch a product is really, really tough. We have to do a lot of testing. We have to make sure that this UTV doesn't have a gas leak that can catch someone's home on fire or injure someone. We have to make sure that this golf cart, has a shaft that doesn't break when it's going down a mountain or down a hill with a kid. So, knowing when your idea or product is ready to launch is really depends on that product, but I can't stress the importance of not jumping ahead before you do that. If you get one shot in business, if you go out and ruin your name, you're done. So for us, it takes us a long time. It's the hardest thing of what we do. It's so hard for us. We have these great ideas and we put them together and they work and we say, let's go sell it. But it just doesn't work like that. You're a manufacturer. What that means is you're the person making the product. I mean, you are responsible for everything. You're not the guy at selling the product. You're the guy that has to engineer, design, and warranty the product. So to know when your product's ready to launch is very, very important. Do not do that too early. Make sure you do all your due diligence. You know exactly what you need to do. You know the market size. There's many ways to do that. Any of you guys in here are welcome to reach out with me. I'll be happy to help you guys with some things that we do when we launch new products that can tell you kind of what your potential is on those products. What can separate your idea from others? This is a key for us. For us, we're the only, well, there's one that's trying to start now, but we were the only consumer direct manufacturer of hot tubs. We were the only guys. We were the only guys that did it. That's something unique. We looked at Tesla, back when they were doing this in the early 2010s, 2011, when they were taking this approach, we said that makes a lot of sense. If you know how to market, you have some cash and you have a good product, why do you need the dealer to stand in the way? So that was our unique factor. That's what we launched our model of. But that's by far not the only thing we did. We do all of our financing in-house. So you guys have challenge credit. We're gonna give you a hot tub with a little down payment. We're gonna finance it. We're doing all of our own digital marketing in-house. We're doing lots of things vertically integrated. We make all of our own panels. We make all of our own frames. We make all of our own plastic jets. These are all things that not a single competitor that we have does. We're trying to make those advantages in-house. The more of those advantages you guys have, the better shot you got. It's not one thing that we do that's different. And that's what's so good about our model. We don't sit around and worry about, oh, well, somebody else will do that tomorrow. Well, they got to do a bunch. They got to constantly be innovating. So don't let your product rest on just one advantage. I would encourage you to do more innovation. This is the best patent lawyer in the world right here, John Woods, by the way. He is, if you have any type of stuff you need, this guy is the man. I think I have 7 patents that I've written with John and a couple more pending. Innovation is my favorite thing about manufacturing. I think that's why I love manufacturing. It allows me to be so darn creative. Like I can come up with these crazy ideas and, I'm driving home on I-26 and I have this idea and I say, man, why can't we make a hot tub? So many people hate hot tubs because there's so much work. I don't even like hot tubs, guys. I don't even have one. Don't tell anyone that, but it's just too much work. The chemicals and the cover, and so I'm trying to figure out how can I get people to want a hot tub. Like I don't even want a hot tub. Like I got to do something. Not fun. So driving home from work one day, I say, man, why can't a hot tub function like a bathtub? Why can't we fill this thing up and we turn the jets on and we drain it and we go back to sleep and life's good. Well, there's no way to fill a hot tub up. It takes 8-10 hours to heat. So we got to work. I got our team of people together. We said, guys, I got an idea. There's a thing called a tankless water heater now, and it can fill hot water on demand at 104 degrees. We did it. So we just launched the hot tub now, but with thermofill technology, you literally can be on your way home from work, push one button on your phone, fill it up to 104, get home, soak in the hot tub, and then push one more button, drain, cover, done. No chemicals, no electricity. So when I say innovation, those are the things that I think about. Like I'm always trying to figure out hard covers, or if you guys have ever owned a hot tub, the cover's the worst part of it. We've got a patented hardcover that we use. It's a huge advantage in the marketplace. If a consumer has ever owned a hot tub with that cheap foam cover that gets waterlogged, that when they come back for the second bite of the hot tub, they won't touch that thing again. It's a easy layup win for us when we have that. So innovation is obviously why all you guys are here at this conference. You guys are all somewhat trying to innovate and create your own thing and build your own world. And these are just some of the things that power that. Create unique advantages, as many as you can. I would say for us, that's so many patents, that's direct to consumer. We only focus on big tickets. So they're stay in focus is what I'll talk about in here also, but creating all these little bitty things, it's easy to say 5 + 5 is 10. It's pretty easy to get there. But 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 all the way to 10 takes a lot longer. And it also takes a lot longer for someone to catch you when you have all these. So when you're thinking about how can I separate my business, because that's what I think about. How can I make my business different? What can I don't care if it's a McDonald's. I'm going to walk out and shake somebody's hand and give them a free Coke. And I'm going to do something different. I've got to stand out. So all you guys are doing something different. Just make sure you never lose that. That's a big part of having more of those things that you guys have, the further ahead you are of the pack. So much harder for someone to catch you. ESOP or profit sharing. So this is a big one. I'm a big believer in ESOPs. I turned my company into one at LPI. The employees own 36% of it, and it's changed a lot of people's lives. It's probably the most proud thing I've done as an entrepreneur. It's changed me. It's made the guy on the shop floor that's drilling the holes on the hot tub is now watching the guy beside him to make sure he's actually drilling the hot tubs the right way. He's picking up scrap. He's not wasting things. But more importantly, when you see what it does, when you have a profitable company and you allow your employees to participate in those profits, it is life-changing. Our average employee at LPI this year with the profit share will make $88,000. And that's pretty darn good for East Tennessee. And the ESOP is about 30% of that. So if an average employee is making 65 grand, you can pretty much write down that they're getting 17, 18 grand in their retirement account every single year that the company performs. And once they get those statements, man, you got the employee. The tenure was already great at our company, but it's virtually zero now. When they understand I can work here till I'm 65 and retire probably a millionaire if I'm making 70, 80 grand a year, close to a millionaire if I'm on the production line, it's a big driver. So there's a lot of things out there, and we're doing some profit sharing programs that we're working on now at our other companies that are not an ESOP, but they're similar to that. But I can't stress how important it is to allow your employees to participate in the health and the growth of the company. It's the best way. You're going to be a better company. You're going to be a better employer. You're going to get a better service. You're going to make the employees happy. It's a no-brainer. For me, I still own 66% of the company. Why do I need 100%? This is a no-brainer for me. I would a whole lot could I have went down a different path? Yes, I've had private equity offers. I've had offers to go public. Those are things that change your culture, and those are things that I don't ever have any interest in. I didn't build this company by myself. These people here built it for me. So, in my mind, there's no better way to reward your employees than that. What to expect from employees? This is something you guys have probably all learned over the years. I will just say from being in business, we all see our employees and they do this stupid stuff and we count on them to do things and they fail. And my God, it's common sense. Like, what is like, guys, you've got to align yourself that these people are never going to be you. You've got to know and what to expect from employees. They're employees for a reason because that's what they want. They don't want to go home at 5:30 and still work till 9 o'clock. That's what you do. That's why you're the owner. So I think I hear a lot of entrepreneurs complain about they can't find employees and they do this and they do that. I think it's important to temper your expectations on what you expect from employees because I have 700 employees and my gosh, I'm so thankful for every one of them. They all bring different value. I know their weaknesses, I know their strengths, but they are some darn good people. And I think it's important that we understand that you guys are in this room because you want to work for yourself, you want to start up, you want to innovate. That's not how everyone thinks, and that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. I'm glad everyone doesn't think like me or you guys. But knowing what their strengths and weaknesses are is a big advantage to know that. Staying focused. This is something that's really, really been hard for me over the years. It's staying straight on I-26 instead of getting off on an exit ramp. It's seeing opportunities here, seeing opportunities there, and those are things I've had to learn. For instance, I bought a bathtub company. I thought I wanted to make bathtubs. Couldn't get excited about selling $1,000 bathtubs when I'm selling $10,000 hot tubs. Just didn't work. Should have never even went down that road. Made a little money, and I've learned focus on growing what I'm really good at. Don't get off this path and this journey to go down these other roads when you haven't perfected the road that you're on right now. So I would just tell you that's so easy to do. It's so easy to get lost in opportunities and see opportunities over here or want to bring this product in or want to change this. Just be in a really good place and don't have anything left to do in the business that you're on. If you will put all that energy in your business, then you're going to be far more successful than trying to stretch yourself out. This is important too. This is one thing that I've done. I've done every single job at my company. I'm proud to say I've done. We started with 20 employees in manufacturing. I have ran the drill gun. I have rolled fiberglass. I have installed frames. I've done all these things. What's that? Right. Oh, well, hey, I didn't do that. Well, and that's all, guys. We'll leave you hanging there. Are we trying to get that back up there? Okay, good deal. Back to what I was saying. So know every job. Let's see. You're way off there, man. You're skipping here. You're giving them the whole thing before we get there. Um, know enough of every area. When I say that, I mean no. If you're hiring somebody to do something and you don't know how to do it yourself, you really are not in a good position to master that skill. If you're depending on an employee to do something that you don't know how to do, good luck. Wish you luck. You might get lucky. You might get somebody that's great, but know how to do every job in your company. No one's too good to do any job, and that's I still get up at 6:30 in the morning and go work out on the production line at our golf facility. We recently have blown up and doubled our output this year. We had quality problems. We had production problems. So what do? I put my boots on. I go out there and I get in. And that's what's so important. I don't want someone to tell me that they can't do something or it can't be done a certain way. So I would just advise you guys to master as many skills as you can because I know how to do digital marketing. I grew up and cut my teeth there. I don't have to listen to some company say, well, this is what your conversion cost is. I know what my conversion, I don't have to learn about financing. I don't have to learn about manufacturing. I've done all these things. I've learned all these things. So I would encourage you guys to master as many as you can. Don't be transactional. When I say don't be transactional, every transaction should matter to you guys. Every transaction matters to me. I'll give you an example. I have a CEO email that our customers get. It's brutal. My wife can tell you I've probably cried a few nights over it. If someone has a bad experience at our company, everyone in the company knows they can email CEO at lpiinc.com. That comes straight to Dave's phone sitting right there. Haven't got any today so far, so it's a good day. Um, and I read those complaints and I listen to the customers and I try to figure out where did we fail this customer at? I mean, we're doing 20,000 hot tubs a year. We could fail 200 people and we'd be 1%. It's a volume game. But I want to know those 200 that we failed. I want those customers. They're giving you that chance. I'm so thankful that they emailed. They're giving me one more shot to show that somebody cares about what happened, whether that was a shipping issue or a service issue or a sales rep promised them something that didn't come, any of those things. And the other thing is everyone in that company knows that that customer has access to me, and that keeps them on their toes. You got 97 stores that know that the CEO reads every single email that comes through and he forwards it and acts on it. So that alone, when I say don't be transactional, I'm probably one of the few CEOs that do that because I don't want to be transactional. I want people to understand that I care and we care. We're an employee-owned company. We're not perfect. No one's perfect, but we're going to go the extra mile. And we fail you, we're going to jump in and fix it. So treat everything as if it matters. When you're dealing with customers, go the extra mile. Let them know that's all you need. Transactional is what everyone expects. We all expect when we call AT&T for someone in another country to answer. That's what we've grown to do. The fact that we have an American answer is great. I mean, you've already made it out of the box there. A lot of these companies are transactional and they don't think like that. Know and control what you're good at. This goes back to what I said, learning every skill. And I would say hire what you're bad at. For me, I'm bad at systems. I have a gigantic ERP system that I have never, ever even logged into. Don't even know the password. I don't even know if I have a username. It's how we run our entire business. But I'm not an ERP guy. I'm a notebook, napkin math, scribble on a sheet guy. Still works well. But I've got people who are really good at ERP, and they can get me any data I want at the snap of my finger. So knowing what I'm good at and what I'm not good at has been a good lesson for me because for a long time I tried to do everything. I tried to be this guy and that guy, and it was stressful. And when you grow up and you get to a certain level, you realize that this is just not what I'm good at. Let's just bring somebody in. But this is what I'm good at, and I'm going to keep my hands on it. So those are important things to identify. KPIs, this is how we run all of our companies. These are seriously important. I get them every single morning. I have meetings every week. I meet with our service department every 2 weeks. I meet with our leadership team. KPIs are the only way to scale a company. Scaling a company is so hard. 97 retail stores. Holy cow. How do we manage this? Easy. I go home at 5 o'clock every day. Easy. It can be done with the right structure. So KPIs are how I keep my eye on the ball. When I see our open service tickets get over 4% of our sales, I'm on the phone. Guys, you need to work this weekend. We need to close these cases out. We need to get these caught up. These are things that I've always got my eye on that are key to keeping the business. Without these, you're going to be in the weeds and you're never going to know what's going on. You're going to have you've got to spend more time getting this data. It's invaluable for how you can scale your company. Marketing, I would say breaking down the marketing to us is like a science. We know where every single one of our customers come from. I know who came from Facebook. I know who came from Instagram. I know who came from TikTok. I know who came from Google, Yahoo, Bing. I know how much money they spent. I know what the conversion cost is. I know how many times they went in my store before they bought. I know how many times they called. I know what every sales rep's closing ratio is based on calls over 60 seconds. These are all things on the marketing side that I geek out over a little bit because they're cool, they're fun, they're not consistent. Sometimes you'll drive yourself crazy, and you'll have a month where a guy closes one every two, and you think he's a rock star, and the next month he stinks, and you're like, "What happened?" But overall, knowing marketing is so important. I drive down the road sometimes and I see billboards of people that are advertising, and I somewhat chuckle because it's just not possible to come out on that billboard based on the eyeballs and based on that type of business. Some businesses, sure, Bucky's on the side of the interstate works great, right? Bucky's next exit, let's get off. Works great. Some businesses are just wasting their money. They have no idea how many eyeballs are on that. So it is so easy to waste money on Google, Yahoo, Facebook. But man, when you dial it in, it is phenomenal. It is powerful and it works so well. But it is a journey. It takes a long time to get there, and the sales funnel is the second part of that. We have a sales funnel that you guys could go and put a lead on our site right now. You could go to hottub.com, golfcarts.com. You'll see a pop-up. You'll fill out a lead. Within 30 seconds, you're getting a text. You're getting a phone call from one of our reps. They're all scored. They're all scored on how fast they respond. Their bonuses are based on about 10 different metrics: closing rates, response times, Google ratings. So we're scoring all these guys based, and you know what? They're on a billboard in front of the whole company. So guess what it looks like to be number 97 out of 97 in front of everybody. It's not fun. We do that because it puts the pressure on them. So those are things on the marketing side that are invaluable to do. On the market, you have got to know where all your leads are coming from, and don't be afraid to try stuff, guys. You're going to spend thousands of dollars and it's not going to work. You're going to do things, but the streaming has been terrible for us. Streaming on Netflix, Hulu, we've tried it. The CPM's just too high. I mean, it's different for every industry. If you guys are in a service industry, Hulu might be the best thing you've ever done. For us, we're trying to find somebody who wants a hot tub. I don't even want a hot tub. So, I mean, there's not many people out there. So it's a customer like that. So figuring and identifying those things are so important to scaling and growing the business. Every day you should be improving from the day before. This goes back to, I can tell you where we're at as a company right now in hot tubs. We are at a point where we really COVID wrecked us. We failed everyone. It became about, our business tripled overnight. Everyone in any big ticket industry just went nuts during COVID. I mean, we went from not thinking we're going to survive the world to waking up in May having 300% more orders, a year backlog. We learned a lot during COVID. We learned that we suck when we try to scale too fast, that we lost track of what matters. We like to say we were handing out invoices. We weren't earning people's business. Now we're back to earning someone's business. We're in an environment now where sales are going down every year, big ticket on the economy. So we're earning people's business, which is much more fun. But every day we would look at those numbers and see how bad we were getting. And we stopped at the end of COVID and we said, what are we doing? Like, we have got to take this serious. We brought in a new QC guy. We hired 8 quality inspectors. And now when I go to the meetings, I sit secretly inside. I say, we can't ever get better than this. Like, these numbers are just stupid. We've never ran this level of quality. We've never ran. But do you guys think I say that? I don't say that. I want to say that. I tell them they did a great job, but we can never rest. There's always another level that you have to get to. So for us, it's always continuing to push forward and improving. Money should not be the major driver in how you make important decisions. I say that because I don't ever make decisions based on money. If I did, I'd probably cut some of my high dollar people worth that make $300,000 a year selling hot tubs. I'd probably just cut them loose and hire somebody for 100. That's what makes sense, right? I'm not a believer in using money to drive your decisions. I listen to my employees a lot. Some of my best ideas have came from my employees. They're super smart. not afraid to speak up in a meeting, not afraid to tell you when you're wrong or you're making the wrong call, and I listen to them. But do not make decisions just based on money. That's a short-lived success. If you're going to just cut people out that's been loyal to you, if you're just going to, that's what the big guys do. That's what Comcast and AT. You go work there, you hit your goal at 100,000. The next year your goal's not sustainable. It's a model. It's the way they work. That's your advantage. That's my advantage as an entrepreneur. I don't work like that. I don't need to work like that. I want people who want to be here forever. I want people who will actually give a crap about our customers and their job and want to be here. So to me, um, that's important. Cash flow, I will say many times I've grown too fast in business and cash flows become a problem. I never had a bank. I've got tons of banks now falling at my feet. That always happens when you don't need banks. They're there when you don't need them. But in the beginning, I didn't. They didn't understand our model. Who's going to invest in some guy wanting to open hot tub stores everywhere? That doesn't sound like a great idea. So, we had to kind of cash flow and bootstrap. And one thing I learned is you can have the most profit in the world, but man, your cash flow is king. Like cash flow is, if you order too much inventory and you get to the end of the year and you got to write Uncle Sam a big check like we do, and it's all on the shelf in inventory, you got a problem if you don't have debt. So knowing and seeing cash flow on the front end is super important. When you guys are laying out your business plans, it's very important to know if you grow too fast, you can't just assume that it's okay. If you guys open your business and you think you're going to do $1 million and you see that you're going to do 2, you better stop and make sure that you can do 2, because you can run into a big problem if you don't have your cash flow right. It's a real issue. Look to the future. I would say, never relax. That's my motto. I love what I do. I love my people. As you can tell, I love East Tennessee. But I eat and sleep, uh, work outside my family and ideas and innovation. That's what drives me. I love the ability to be born right here in the good old USA, to employ people in East Tennessee, and to be able to make a difference and an impact in 700 people's lives, our customers' lives. I'll never relax because I love what I'm doing. There was times where when I was growing through my entrepreneur journey that I didn't love what I was doing. I was burnt out. It was all on me. How do I survive? This is awful. I just wanted to close the doors and go home and move to an island. And, I was financially stable enough. And then you learn that, focus on what gives you positive energy. For me, it's innovating. It's buying companies. I bought one a few weeks ago. I'm about to buy another. Like, those are the things that excite me, the things that I can make a difference in. So I think it's important to never relax, and more importantly, understand what your limitations are. Don't take on too much for yourself. Step back, allow people to help you, hire good people around you, and most of all, just make sure your employees know that you care about them. That's what's worked for me. So that is all I got today. Has anybody got any questions for me? No?
How about it? Big round of applause for Dave Hatley.